Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the Hebrew Jamaican Coolie back again with another video. And in this video I would like to talk about stepfathers and their responsibility to the children that they decide to become a father to that is not their children. All right. Now, I think this is very, very important because I want to give a Bible verse, and as soon as I hit a very good stoplight that's gonna stay, that the light is gonna stay red for long, I will read that Bible verse to you so that you understand the points that I'm going to be making while I'm talking in this video. So, anyway, listen. Do I think it's a good thing to be a stepfather? I honestly, really and truly do not. I don't think it's like people always look at it as an honorable role that you as a man get up and basically take care of another man's seed. But that stuff isn't even biblical. It isn't biblical. It's not biblically okay for you to get up and take care of another man's seed, especially if he's still alive. If the man has died and you are willing to, then you should be able to, the Bible would allow you to basically take care of that man's seed. But while that man lives, that man should be, 1, married to the mother, 2, taking care of his own seed. In any case, let's talk about the situation and how it got to where it is. You have two people that seemingly were having a great time. They cared about each other. And you cannot say they did not care. You cannot say they did not care. They both cared about each other enough to sleep with each other. We're not talking about like even nowadays where, you know, it's a one-off chance. You just want to sleep with a girl one time and that accidentally happened. We're talking about two people who they were in a relationship and they decided that, you know, the woman would bear the child and then she would give birth to the child and then, you know, they would be a family some way, somehow. Now, here's what happened. So now basically, for some reason or not, during the process of them not getting along, they have, you know, departed from one another. They have broken off the relationship. You know, the father is disgusted with the mother is disgusted with the father. You know what I mean? And basically, you know, the father decides to dip. In Jamaica, when we say somebody decides to dip, means like dip out, means like they basically just leave. So the father makes a decision to dip, and he leaves, and he says to himself that I don't want to deal with this type of woman. I don't want to have a relationship with this type of woman. I can't make a life with this woman either. Anyway, so she also says stuff like, you know, this isn't a great guy. I don't want to have a relationship with him. I don't want to have a family with him. I don't want to be a family with this guy. And she, you know, allows him to leave. And, you know, they have a fight from now and after the child is born. They're constantly, you know, battling back and forth with each other. Now, here's what I want to talk about. The woman is now what we call a single mother. And she is a single mother by choice. Number one, And number two, she's a single mother because the man that she was in a relationship decides that he no longer wants to be in a relationship with her or the child. Right? So the father has also left her, making her a single mom. Now, we're not talking about co-parenting or anything of that sort, or you know what I mean? We're not talking of anything of that sort. We're talking about a woman who was basically now a single mom. That's the situation that it is right now. No matter how the scenario turns out, that woman is now a single mom. She's a woman who has decided that she wants to raise a child without the father being there. Now, she may want money from the father, monetary resources from the father, or material resources from the father. Material resources could come in the terms of books, could come in terms of clothing, could come in terms of bags, could come in terms of, you know, furniture, things like that that the child may need. That's material resources. So if you don't understand what I mean when I say material resources, that's what I mean when I say material resources. In any case, so the woman, she basically now she decides that she's going to raise this child on her own, and you know, two twos, she realized that she can't. She realized that she cannot raise this child on her own. She realizes that she can't do this by herself. She realizes that she's not doing a great job. She may have people lie to her, telling her that she's doing a great job, but deep down, I think a lot of these women know that they aren't doing a great job. Deep down, I believe a lot of them have looked within. Even though they may have accepted the lies, they're practically living in denial that they know that they're not doing a great job. Now, have many children who've come from, you know, single mom homes done great? Yes, of course. Of course they have. You have many children come from single mother homes that have done exceptionally well. And to say that they have not produced children who have become very responsible and positive adults to play a positive part in society would be a lie to say. Many of them, many men that have come from single mother households have grown up in society and contributed to society in a very positive way. All right? But the problem that we're really having is that this is it's not a high percentage. It's not a high rollover. If it were a high rollover of, you know, men or girls who come from single mother households, you know, becoming extremely positive adults that, you know, contribute to society in such a positive way that society grows immensely, nobody would complain about it. But the problem is this, is that, you know, children that come from single mother homes, they're not like contributing to society in a positive way. Like, most of them are contributing to society in an extremely negative way. You saw the statistics that most school shooters, they come from single mother households. 70% of school shooters come from single parent households, or even come from a household that both parents don't exist and that they're living with their grandparents. So you understand? So most school shooters don't even come from a single mother household. Now, yes, you do have school shooters who come from two-parent households with the mother and father together, and the mother and the father look like they're doing well, and the mother and the father look like they're doing their best to raise the child in the right way as best as they can. But the child still comes out to be a bad egg. But it's not a high percentage. It's not a... You understand what I'm saying? So this is not to say, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. People are going to be bad. People are going to... No. That's... No. It's not a high percentage. So you can more trust children who grew up in two-parent households to come out and be positive than you can trust them to be negative. All right? That's the point I'm making. Right? Even though it does happen that you have children that come from two-parent household, the parents are doing their best, and the child comes out to be extremely rotten, negative, and, you know, really far from falling really far from the apple tree. It happens. It really and truly does happen, but it is not the norm. And I don't think that we should try to treat it as the norm, because it isn't the norm, right? So, and that's my point too. I don't think we should treat it as a norm. In any case, now we haven't even gotten to the point of stepfathers, because I really do want to cover that point of saying that, you know, this is the problem, that if single mothers don't understand what the problem is with them and their children, there's more that we could say, but it's not going to be said, because that's not the points I want to get across. Because I know a lot of people always talk about, you know, when single mothers are in a neighborhood and, you know, they basically their children are bad and stuff like that and blah 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 blah. The truth of the matter is that is actually true. You know, a lot of parents don't want their children playing around those children, because those children will basically affect their children negatively. So they tend to keep their children away from single mother children. But let me tell you something that you may not know, right? Let me tell you something that you may not know, and it is the truth. Some women may see the error of their ways through how other children interact positively with their children. When some women see how some children come from, you know, a home where there's two parents, and that child, you know, has a different attitude than what her child has, and that child positively influences her child to even behave differently at home, she may look within herself and realize that she made a colossal mistake in her decision making in life that has also not only impacted her, but her child as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. Now, let's get to the point of Mr. Stepfather, Mr. Stepping In, Mr. Step It Up, Mr. Strong Back, Mr. I am going to take care of you and the child. All right, let's get into it now. Now, you have men in society, and we have seen it sometimes in media, which I don't believe should be pushed. I don't believe it should be pushed. I don't believe it should be pushed. Right? And I'm going to talk about even Boyce Watkins when he spoke the foolishness to Antoine. And Antoine answered him. But this is what I would, this is the answer that I would give him. And let me, you know what, let's talk about it right now. So when Boyce Watkins spoke to Antoine about single mothers and, you know, saying how we are all responsible for the black community and stuff like that, he said to Antoine that if you see a piece of trash in your community on the ground, wouldn't you pick it up? Like, if you see somebody drop a piece of trash on the ground in your community and stuff like that, wouldn't you pick it up, or would you let the trash stay there and, you know, basically continue to degrade, or whichever word, or degrade the community. Now, here's my answer to that, Boyce Watkins. If I see somebody, and believe me, I do it all the time, because you have people who are nasty in my neighborhood, and I stand right out there. One night I came home and there was a guy smoking on my wall. Right, the first thing I told the guy to do is get up off my wall and go smoke somewhere else. That's number one. Number two, when he was getting up to get off my wall and move, I told him to pick up his cigarette butts. And he had to do it. He had to pick up his cigarette butts. Now, I needed to understand something, people. When you allow people to create trash or throw down trash in your community, right? Just because they're from your community, it don't mean that you guys are all together. Everybody has a part to play, and everybody should be playing their part. If you didn't create trash, you shouldn't be the one cleaning it up. You understand what I'm saying? So my answer to what Boyce Watkins was saying is this. If I see somebody drop trash in my neighborhood, my instincts is not to pick that trash up. My instincts is to tell that person to clean up their own trash. I'm not cleaning up trash I did not create. You understand? That's extra on me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the thing that we need to say. It's not another man's responsibility to clean up trash he did not create. And it's not wrong for a man to not want to do that. It's not wrong for a man to not want to take care of children that are not his. It's actually shameful. It would actually be shameful for a man to basically want to take care of children that are not his. It is not something honorable to take care of bastards. The Bible does not condone taking care of bastards. A lot of you people, a lot of you women love to talk about the Bible. You love to talk about this verse, that verse, this verse, that verse, but you don't know the verse about submission, and you don't know the verse about having children in wedlock. Let me tell you something. When Ashley and I decided to have a child, we were talking about this morning. When my wife and I decided to have a child, right? We decided that, we would get married before she was born. We decided we would get married way before she was born. You understand? Because we said we already decided that we were going to get married down the road. We decided that we were going to get married down the road, but but Amy just made it happen sooner. And we were still happy. We were still happy to basically be married, whether sooner or later, it doesn't matter. We decided that we weren't going to have that child be born while her parents were separated. And it wasn't Ashley that pushed this neither. None of us pushed this. We just both decided that, all right, listen, let's get married. We're not having this child born out of wedlock. And about a month after we got married, no, 2 months after, 2 months after we got married, Amy was born. Because we got married in May 8th, May 8, 2018, we got married. And Amy was born on July 2nd, 2018. So, we made a very conscious decision. Even though we were in a relationship, and even though I told her that, I'll give her 3 years. I'll give her 3 years before I get married to her. And that's what I tell, basically, alright, understand this, people. Every time I've gotten into a relationship, that's the time limit I give women. I said that if we're together for 3 years, I'll put a ring on it. I'll put a ring on it. This is what I've told every single girlfriend that I've been with for years. You understand that if I'm with you for 3 years, then, you know, you're deserving of a ring. And that was just my code. That was just my code. And the reason why it was like a kind of part of the code is because, like, I realized that by the 3rd date, I was in bed with a woman. And so it was just like, okay, 3-3. Let me just say, all right, by 3 years, if I'm still together with this person for 3 years, I don't see anything wrong with me basically deciding to put a ring on it. In any case, now listen, let's get back to the topic of stepfathers. Sometimes a stepfather steps in through decision. He decides that, you know, he would like to take on the responsibility of taking care of the woman and the child that was born out of wedlock, the child that is not his, the child that is not his seed, the child that he did not create, the child that he never, you know, he never decided that he was going to make. But yet he has made the decision that he's going to take on the responsibility to rear this child. All right. Now, a lot of women find it honorable, but to me, it's not an honorable role. It's not a biblical role, and it's not an honorable role. And I don't think men should be participating or should be jumping up to be someone else's child's father. All right? I don't think that men should be jumping up and jumping to the front of the line to be someone else's father. All right? Especially if the father is still alive. Now, if the father is dead, then by all means, that father, then you can, I would say, okay, it would be something that would be okay. You understand? Anyway, so back to, yeah. So if a man decides that this is his thing, listen, I'm not going to say what you as a man can and cannot do with your life. If you feel like being a stepfather is something you want to do, of course, go ahead and by all means, you know, go ahead, be a stepfather. If you feel like it's something that you want, you can manage it. If it's something that you aspire to doing, of course, go ahead. You know, you can't control no man. No man can tell no man how to live his life. We can give suggestions. We can say, hey brother, I don't think that's the right move to make. But no man can force no man into any role that we feel like he should be in. So if a man decide that, listen, I want to be a stepfather to this boy and stuff like that, then that's literally this guy's business. And that's not the business of anybody else. Really and truly, that's not the business of anybody else. But listen, I don't believe that another man should be the father of a child that he did not create. You understand? It's not right. It's just not right. Oh, I keep forgetting that I needed to read the Bible verse to you. It's actually, if you have time, it's Hebrews 12 verse 8, and it speaks about chastisement. And let's talk about chastisement, because let me tell you something. I was in a relationship with I've been in a relationship with 2 single mothers in my lifetime. I'm not going to get up, that's what I tell you, I'm not going to get up and dump on people and call people trash. And what I'm going to talk about is that there's a lot of women in society, they've been pumped up, they've been gassed up, they've been, you know, they've been hyped up to believe that there's something that they are not. The first single mother that I was with was a white girl. Nice looking white girl, yo. Nice, pretty looking white girl. Still had her shape, man. Real slim and trim and nice and thing. And the reason why it didn't work out is because, you know, the father was actually black. But I was like, she was still affected by, you know, being with that guy. I could tell that mentally she wasn't 100% there with me. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to deal with this, because I can go there and find a woman that doesn't have a child and that is, you know, over her ex and not dealing with problems from her ex because the father was still around. You understand? And when I got into a relationship with this woman, I had already decided before I took the leap that I wasn't going to be a father to this dude. Because I said, yo, this dude ain't my child. And I had a lot of scenarios in my head saying, you know, what if one day I married her and the boy grew up and I was punishing him and he looks at me and he says, you're not my dad, you can't tell me what to do. And that was running through my mind. And I was like, I don't want no child that I'm taking care of, that I'm disciplining, that I'm footing his bill for school, that I'm making sure clothes is on his back, roof over his head, food in his stomach. You know, him have internet, him have cable, him have TV, him have video game. I don't want any child that I'm providing all these things for look at me and tell me, say, you cannot tell me what to do because you are not my father. It would immediately crush me. It would immediately crush me. Right? So, you know, that's just not my thing. Now, the second person I dealt with, she had 2. And both of these boys were from 2 different fathers. And she knew, like, I let her know, like, straight up, I'm not going to take this relationship seriously. I'm not going to take you seriously. Because obviously you cannot basically, you can't make responsible decisions. And I don't want to be with somebody, I don't want to, like, be with somebody like that. And she, by the way, she was okay with that, because what she was really into is just being bussed down. That's really what she wanted. You understand? She didn't really even want a man around. She just wanted to get bussed down. So, you know, just understand this too about single mothers. Some of them really don't want a man for their children. They want to, like, you know, they want to do whatever. To my knowledge, she did find a guy. She told me she found a guy that had children of his own too as well, and they got together. And I congratulated her when she was telling me that. When she was like, you know, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, do your thing. But anyway, people find the reason why single mothers, I wanted to get to the point of saying why, but I keep, like, ranting on and on. But when women basically seek out, you know, men, when they seek out certain men to father their children, is because they instinctively know that men literally lead and guide and teach children the proper way to grow up in society and to function in society. You know, and a lot of women may not want to admit that in this modern age, but you cannot deny truth. You can deny everything all you want, but it doesn't make it a lie. You know, so just remember this. One of the main reasons why a woman, and I've spoken about this years ago, and I'm saying it again. The reason why single mothers still seek out well-meaning men is because instinctively they know that this man will have a positive impact on their lives. Now, you do have women that basically don't, you know, care about these men, and they don't care about, you know, they just want what they want, and that's a new thing to me. You understand? And when I say new thing, I mean it just started to pop up like a couple of years ago, where you have a lot of these stupid, selfish women who are being hyped up to believe that they are goddesses, and that they're this, and they're 10, and they're this, and they're that, and that even though they come with baggage, that, you know, any man that is with them should be lucky to have them. And that's just this day and age where we are lacking a lot of humbleness. We are as a society very, very arrogant and ignorant. And that is the problem. We're very ignorant and arrogant. And because of that, we lack meekness, we lack humbleness, and that is our pride, and it's going to be our downfall. It's going to cause us to you know, reap destruction. Now, so just so you know, you guys understand, again, I don't agree, neither do I think it's an okay thing or a good thing for any man to take on the responsibility of another man. You see, that's the thing. Would you go to a workplace and take on your co-worker's responsibility if he walked away from it? No. You'd basically tell that co-worker to come back and do his part, just like everybody else. So why is it that you would think that it's an okay thing to, you know, take up another man's responsibility when he decides that he's gonna walk away from it, or not have the woman understand that her walking away from the father is the most irresponsible thing that she could do, that is going to impact the child negatively? You understand? I know we kind of like to just like we like to put on children gloves while we're dealing with women, but that's not something that we should be doing. We shouldn't be treating women as if they're children. They're not children. They're grown adults, and they need to understand the weight of their decisions. They should learn to understand the weight of their decisions. It's not right for a woman to basically, you know, pretend that, you know, how she lived her life wasn't wrong or whatever it is, or to pretend that, you know, it's just a mistake or anything like that. No, she has to understand the consequences of making such decisions of that, because for the next 20 years of her life, she's not only impacted herself, but the child that she brought into the world. And then looking for another man to take care of your irresponsible decision is also something that is a problem, where you don't want to understand now the impact and responsibility that you're trying to ask, and the burden that you're asking someone to try and bear with you, who should not be bearing this problem with you as well. So before I even close out, now that I'm at work, let Let me see if I can park properly. Yeah. Now that I'm at work, let's go through the Bible verse. It's Hebrews 12 verse 8. And pull it up real quick. Hebrews 12 verse 8. Come on, load up. It's taking a while to load. Let's see if I go back. Take off this and see if it will load. Alright. Hebrews 12 verse 8 says, if you are not, well, no, that is NIV. I'm going to do King James. Alright, and then I'm going to load up the King James. That is the NIV. King James Version says, alright, I'm going to put it right here so you can see. It's kind of hard. Alright, let me just read it. But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. And the reason why I want you to understand that is that God don't recognize bastards in his kingdom either. And it goes back to us being the true people of the Most High. You see, all these people that are claiming to be the chosen people, they're not his people. They are bastards. And God don't recognize bastards. Anyway, people, this is the Hebrew Jamaican Coolie. Peace. I am out.